Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real today. Life ain't always fair. Life will punch you in the gut. Take your lunch money and not even say sorry. But here's the truth. You can't let your emotions run your life. If you want to win, and I mean truly win, your mind has to take the driver's seat. Emotions are powerful forces within us, and they often come rushing in without warning. They can overwhelm us, cloud our judgment, and push us toward decisions that might feel right in the moment, but don't serve us well in the long run. When something happens, a sudden loss, a harsh word, a disappointment, our emotions react instantly. Anger flares up. Fear takes hold. Sadness sinks deep, and anxiety gnaws at our confidence. This reaction is natural and frankly unavoidable. Emotions are part of what make us human. They're the initial spark that triggers how we respond to life's events. But here's the crucial point. Emotions react, but the mind decides. What does that mean? It means that although emotions are the first to arrive on the scene, they don't have the final say in what we do or how we move forward. The mind is the leader, the boss, the voice that has the power to assess, interpret, and guide us beyond our immediate feelings. When you encounter a challenge, your emotions will scream at you to give up or lash out or spiral down. But your mind has the ability to pause, analyze, and choose a better path. This decision-making power is what separates those who stumble and stay down from those who get up and keep fighting. Think about it. If every time something went wrong, you simply acted on impulse or gave in to how you felt, where would you be? If you let anger dictate your words or actions, you might burn bridges. If fear rules your thoughts, you might never take the risk necessary to grow. If sadness or despair overwhelm you, you might stay stuck in a place where progress is impossible. But when your mind steps in to evaluate the situation, it asks important questions. What can I learn here? How can I improve? What's the best move right now? This isn't about ignoring your emotions or pretending they don't exist. It's about recognizing that emotions are signals, not instructions. They tell you something important is happening inside, but they don't have the authority to make the final call. Your mind, through reason and perspective, holds that power. It can say, yes, I feel anger, but I won't let it control my response. Or yes, I feel fear, but I will act anyway. It is the difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is immediate and emotional. Responding is deliberate and thoughtful. Building this skill, allowing your mind to decide rather than your emotions to react, is what creates resilience. It allows you to navigate setbacks with clarity instead of chaos. It helps you maintain focus when distractions try to pull you off course. It gives you strength to keep going when giving up feels easier. When you learn to lead with your mind, you create space between the event and your reaction. In that space, you find control, you find power, you find the ability to choose actions that align with your goals, values, and long-term success rather than temporary emotional states. Over time, this mindset becomes a habit. Your brain rewires itself to pause and evaluate before jumping into action. You become less vulnerable to impulsive mistakes and more capable of turning obstacles into opportunities. You start winning more because you're not just surviving emotional storms, you're steering through them. This mental discipline doesn't come overnight, but with practice, it grows stronger. And the more it grows, the more you realize that while you can't stop emotions from coming, you absolutely can control how you let them influence your life. Mental strength is what transforms setbacks into setups for success. Every obstacle, every failure, and every disappointment has the potential to break you or to build you. The difference lies in how strong your mind is when faced with those challenges. When life knocks you down, it's your mental toughness that helps you get back up, dust yourself off, and prepare for the next move. Those who possess mental strength don't see setbacks as dead ends. They see them as opportunities to learn, adapt, and grow. Setbacks are inevitable. No one escapes hardship or failure, but mental strength means having the resilience to face these difficulties without giving up or losing sight of your goals. It means not allowing temporary defeats to become permanent conditions. When you have a strong mind, you don't just survive hard times. You use them as fuel to push forward with even more determination. You understand that failure isn't the opposite of success, it's a part of the process, a stepping stone on the path to victory. Building mental strength involves developing certain habits and attitudes. It means training yourself to stay calm under pressure, to think clearly when emotions run high, and to keep moving forward even when the road looks rough. It requires patience and perseverance, knowing that real progress often takes time and sustained effort. A strong mind refuses to be discouraged by mistakes or setbacks. Instead, it asks, what can I learn from this? How can I do better next time? Mental strength also helps you manage your expectations. It reminds you that success rarely comes overnight. Those who are mentally tough are prepared to put in the work consistently, even when results aren't immediate. They don't get discouraged by slow progress or temporary failures because they trust the process and believe in their ability to improve. This mindset creates a powerful cycle. The stronger your mind, the more you persevere. And the more you persevere, the stronger your mind becomes. When setbacks come, and they will, mental strength prevents you from spiraling into self-doubt or despair. Instead of letting disappointment define you, a strong mind helps you rise above it, finding new ways to approach problems or new goals to pursue. It turns obstacles into opportunities to develop new skills, build character, and deepen your understanding of what it takes to succeed. Ultimately, mental strength is about mindset. It's the unwavering belief that no matter what life throws your way, you have the power to overcome it. It's the inner voice that tells you to keep going when others quit, to hold on when others let go, and to fight harder when others give in. This strength transforms setbacks into setups because it turns every challenge into a chance to come back stronger, wiser, and more prepared for what's next. Discipline is the foundation that keeps you moving forward, especially when motivation fades. Motivation is powerful. It lights a fire inside you and gives you energy to start something new. But motivation is often fleeting. It comes and goes like waves, strong one moment and gone the next. Discipline, on the other hand, is the steady engine that drives you day after day, regardless of how you feel. When you rely solely on motivation, you're at the mercy of your emotions. But discipline creates consistency, and consistency is what leads to real progress and success. Discipline means showing up even when you don't feel like it. It means doing the work when it's hard, boring, or inconvenient. It means sticking to your plan and pushing through resistance, distractions, and setbacks. People who succeed don't wait for motivation to strike. They cultivate discipline to keep going no matter what. Discipline turns goals into habits and habits into results. It makes your efforts automatic so you don't have to rely on willpower every single time. One of the biggest challenges with motivation is that it depends on external factors, like how inspired you feel, how much rest you had, or what's going on around you. Discipline, however, is internal. It's a choice you make every day to commit to your vision, no matter the circumstances. That choice builds your character and strengthens your mind. It teaches you self-betrayal, responsibility, and focus. These qualities become tools you can use to overcome obstacles and stay on course when things get tough. Discipline also helps you avoid distractions and temptations that pull you away from your goals. When you're disciplined, you develop routines and boundaries that protect your time and energy. You prioritize what matters most and say no to what doesn't serve your growth. This ability to stay focused and committed separates those who dream from those who actually achieve. The truth is, motivation alone won't get you where you want to go. It's discipline that bridges the gap between desire and achievement. While motivation can spark action, discipline sustains it. Without discipline, motivation will burn out and progress will stall. But with discipline, you build momentum. You create a rhythm that keeps you moving forward, even when the initial excitement wears off. This is how dreams become reality and how success becomes sustainable. Your feelings are valid, but they're not facts. This distinction is crucial because emotions can be intense, persuasive, and all-consuming in the moment, but they don't always reflect reality. You might feel like you're failing, like you're not good enough, or like everything is falling apart, but those feelings don't necessarily mean those things are true. Emotions are powerful messengers, but they aren't always accurate narrators. They respond to fear, stress, past experiences, and insecurities, not always to logic or truth. Understanding this difference gives you power. It helps you take a step back, assess the situation with a clear mind, and make decisions based on what's actually happening rather than what your emotions are telling you. Just because you feel unprepared doesn't mean you're not ready. Just because you feel rejected doesn't mean you're worthless. Just because you feel like giving up doesn't mean you should. Emotions come and go. They rise and fall like tides, but facts stay the same. And truth doesn't change based on how you feel in a moment of weakness or doubt. Acknowledging your emotions without letting them control you is a key part of emotional intelligence and mental maturity. It means being honest about what you feel while also holding space for reason, perspective, and truth. It means learning to question your feelings instead of following them blindly. Why do I feel this way? Is there evidence to support this thought? What else could be true here? These questions help separate emotion from reality and allow your mind to step in as the guide. When you treat every emotion as fact, you risk making decisions you'll later regret. You might walk away from opportunities because fear told you you'd fail, You might lash out at someone because anger convinced you they meant harm. But when you recognize that emotions are temporary and not always rooted in truth, you gain the ability to pause, reflect, and choose wisely. You create space between feeling and action. And in that space, you gain control over your choices, your mindset, and ultimately your future. Success doesn't come from comfort, it demands control. It's easy to stay where things feel safe and familiar, to avoid risk, to do just enough to get by. But real success lives outside that comfort zone. It lives in discipline, focus, and intentional choices. Comfort feels good, but it doesn't stretch you. It doesn't challenge you or push you to grow. Control, on the other hand, means taking charge of your thoughts, your time, your habits, and your environment so you can move toward what you really want. Control is about ownership. It's about saying, I may not control everything that happens to me, but I control how I respond. You can't grow if you're always reacting emotionally, giving in to distractions, or avoiding what's hard. Taking control means being proactive with your energy, your attitude, and your mindset. It means deciding to do what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable, unfamiliar, or difficult. People who succeed aren't more talented or more lucky. They just take more control over their decisions. They build routines. They protect their focus. They sacrifice temporary comfort for long-term gain. They don't let laziness or fear run their schedule. They know that growth only happens when you push beyond what's easy and start managing your life with clarity and purpose. When you stay in comfort, you stay stuck. When you step into control, you unlock potential. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about knowing when to rest and when to push, when to say no and when to lean in. That kind of control creates progress. It builds character. It leads you step by step out of ordinary and into excellence, because success doesn't hand itself over to people who wait around in comfort. It respects those who rise and take control. Winning begins the moment logic leads and not emotion. Emotions are immediate, loud, and often driven by fear, frustration, or impulse. Logic is steady, calculated, and grounded in facts. When you let emotions lead, you make choices based on how you feel in the moment, not what's best in the long run. But when logic takes the wheel, you make decisions that align with your goals, values, and future outcomes. Emotion says quit because it's hard. Logic says keep going because this is where growth happens. In high-pressure situations, emotions tend to dominate. They push you toward reactions that feel satisfying short-term, but damage your chances at long-term success. Logic steps in and creates space to evaluate. It asks questions. It looks at consequences. It slows things down just enough to stop you from making a permanent decision based on a temporary feeling. Emotion might say, I'm not ready. Logic says you've prepared. This is just fear talking. When logic leads, you don't ignore your emotions. You acknowledge them, but you don't obey them blindly. You use them as signals, not as commands. That's what keeps you stable when the pressure rises and everything inside you wants to run or lash out. The winners in life are the ones who've trained their minds to process emotion, then act from a place of calm strategy and clarity. They don't suppress what they feel, but they don't let feelings make the final call. They let logic guide the steps while emotion watches from the passenger seat.